are loaded up with all sorts of good stuff on weather for Weather Geeks this evening. Lots to throw at you in terms of our near-term weather and also some interesting things happening early next week before Thanksgiving. So let's get right to it this evening. First, a quick review from our rain gauge network across the region of this morning's rain. It pretty much was as expected, about 1/4 of an inch on average. In fact, amounts were very consistent. We didn't have a lot of variety with our amounts like we sometimes do. So yeah, about 1/4 of an inch in a lot of communities, including in Vienna at the airport, 0.24 officially at the airport today. And it was one of those backwards days, temperature-wise, of course. The high of 65 was just after midnight, but it was in the lower and middle 40s all afternoon. And so it was definitely a day as expected that was a lot cooler than yesterday. Yesterday when I showed you this graphic, the digits were pretty similar, but they all had plus signs in front of them. The 24-hour temperature change this evening, about 25 degrees cooler than this same time yesterday. So the cooler air is punching in, and it is here to stay. Let's talk about the moon tonight. We have a full moon overhead tonight in November. The full moon is oftentimes referred to as the full beaver moon, and this is a special full moon tonight because of course, we have a lunar eclipse that will transpire in North America overnight tonight. Now, good news, bad news with this. Good news is this is going to be a really nice eclipse. I mean, almost a total eclipse. 97% of the moon's face will be covered by the Earth's shadow at about 4:03 a.m. This begins actually at 2:18, maximum eclipse at 4:03, ends at 5:47. The bad news is, well, the time of the day. Not a lot of people want to get up and look at the sky at this time of the day, and also clouds can be somewhat of an issue, and also, it's going to be pretty cold outside. There will probably be some snow in parts of the area while this is going on. But if you get lucky, maybe you can check this out if you don't mind the hour and the cold. What about the clouds? Here's a look at the latest run of our highest resolution model. It definitely has trended a little bit cloudier over the last couple of runs. I still think your best chance to check this out will be in Columbiana County, especially before peak eclipse time, 2 to 3 a.m., when things are just getting underway. It'll still be worth checking out if you happen to be up at that hour. I do think that your chances are somewhat decent still south of 224, but as we get closer to 4 and 5, when this maximum eclipse is happening, I think the clouds are going to start winning the battle as the snow shower activity continues pushing off to the south. So fingers crossed, if you're going to make a run at this and try to check it out, hopefully the clouds will cooperate over your location. All right, with the colder air pouring over the Great Lakes, no surprise, the lake effect is starting to really ramp up. It is snowing to beat the band, as they say, out in western Michigan at this hour. The air just warm enough that it's mostly rain showers up over Lake Erie. The lake water temperatures are still warmer than the average, thanks to that very warm October. And November has not been particularly cold thus far. So Lake Erie, especially the central and eastern part of the basin, lake water temperatures are still north of 50. It's a little bit cooler out here in the shallow end of Lake Erie. On the west end, temperatures have dropped into the 40s. But yeah, the lake is warmer than average for this time of the year. And the air, most importantly a few thousand feet above our heads, will be so much colder than that lake water temperature that it's a very good setup for a handful of hours for lake effect. These 5,000 foot temperatures Fahrenheit are going to be in the teens. Lake water temperatures are in the 50s. That's a pretty big difference. And so you're going to start to see Mondo lake effect bands setting up. The good news is the favorable fetch off the lakes is not going to last all that long. But for a handful of hours, we could see some pretty good bands setting up. Even as early as midnight, we'll probably start to see some decent bands in Lake County, Ashtabula County, heading over to Crawford and Erie counties in Pennsylvania. Then as we head deeper into the night, 3, 4 in the morning, some of these are going to start trying to meander a little bit further to the south. I would expect some snow bands to be around a good chunk of Trumbull and Mercer counties right around 3:30, 4 a.m. And then as we head closer to daybreak, what's left of these may meander as far south as Columbiana County. By that point, they're probably losing their punch somewhat. Here's what we've done with the snow forecast. This is a pretty standard issue snow map for a lake effect event in which the wind direction is kind of just north of due west. West-northwest is going to be the primary wind direction with this. So that brings the heaviest snow totals into Geauga County, into Ashtabula County, into inland Erie County, and into northern Crawford County in Pennsylvania. And for our viewing area, for a handful of hours, decent snow showers, in this kind of a setup can leave up to an inch or even 2 or 3 in parts of Trumbull and Mercer, especially off to the north of Interstate 80. Now, once you're down towards Salem and Columbiana and kind of south of 224 down into Columbiana County, you'll be hard-pressed to see much more than a candy coating out of this in most spots, unless you get some sort of just totally random renegade heavier snow shower. But as things look right now, the farther south you are, this is going to be pretty low impact for the most part. But it's not going to be surprising at all if, even if we just have 3/4 of an inch or an inch of snow in some spots from 224 north, it's not going to be surprising if untreated surfaces are kind of slick in some spots very late tonight into tomorrow morning. Best chance for 2 or 3. Again, as you get close to 87 in northern Trumbull County, so from Mespo and Bristol and Bloomfield over towards Kinsman and Gustavus, once you're down closer to Cortland and especially south of Cortland, the chances start to decrease that you see more than an inch out of this activity. And over in Mercer County, again, the usual suspects, close to the Crawford County line, up towards Greenville, Sandy Creek, New Lebanon. Once you get down closer to Mercer and Sharon and especially the I-80 corridor, your chances of seeing more than an inch do lower. Now, it's not going to snow all day tomorrow. In fact, the lake effect will shut down by midday at the latest. And at the last minute, the sun is probably going to try to come out towards 4 o'clock or so, right before sunset. But the clouds roll back in as we start the weekend. This is going to be kind of a gloomy-looking Saturday afternoon, but unproductive clouds. I expect it to be dry on Saturday. Not so dry, though, on Sunday. Increasing chances for rain as we head towards late morning and into the afternoon. Not much has changed with our thinking with the next system. This brings us rain Sunday into early Sunday night. That probably tapers off overnight, and then the cold air wraps in, and pretty good lake effect setup. Even a better lake effect setup, I think, for the entire region. All the Great Lakes will probably be busy Monday, especially in the afternoon and evening into the overnight, and with a little bit more of a northerly or northwesterly fetch than we're going to experience tomorrow morning. This could bring some decent lake effect bands a little farther to the south. Not going to be surprised if late Monday, Monday night, early Tuesday morning, we have enough to shovel and plow in more locations across our viewing area. Of course, it's too early to speculate on amounts. One thing at a time. We've got lake effect to contend with tomorrow morning. But certainly by the weekend, we'll start to get a better handle on exactly what we could expect. But we could possibly expect kind of a tricky morning commute coming up on Tuesday. We're going to get that out of the way in time for Thanksgiving. Do think Thanksgiving is largely uneventful. It may not be all that sunny, but pretty uneventful. And we don't see a lot happening in the longer range precipitation-wise. Sort of a classic La Nina signature here with dry weather in the southern tier of states as we roll the calendar forward into December, coming up in less than 2 weeks now. And around here, while it does not look like a very mild pattern at all, in fact, it looks pretty chilly, it also does not look particularly snowy at the end of November. All right, more updates on the weekend and beyond on the Friday evening edition of Weather for Weather Geeks. Look forward to talking with you then. In the meantime, thanks for watching, and have a great rest of your night.